Ever hit that mid-afternoon slump and find yourself reaching for another cup of coffee?
Oh, tell me about it.
Like, you know you should be energized, but your body's just saying, nope, not today.
It's the worst.
The absolute worst, and today we are diving deep into natural nutrition because maybe, just maybe, there's a better way to unlock that feeling of being truly energized, not just surviving the day.
I love that. Truly energized.
Right, not just relying on caffeine and willpower. And the exciting thing is we've got a whole stack of sources here going beyond the usual eat your veggies advice. We're talking about the science behind feeling truly alive.
And that's what I find so fascinating because we often use the word vitality, but what does that actually mean?
Yeah, is it just not being tired? Or is there more to it?
Well, one source defined it as this amazing synergy between feeling physically energized, obviously, but also mentally sharp and emotionally balanced.
Okay, so it's like you're firing on all cylinders.
Exactly. Having the capacity to really engage with life, not just go through the motions.
I love that. That feeling of waking up with a clear head, buzzing with ideas. To sign me up.
And get this, some studies are even showing that higher vitality is linked to being more resilient, having better overall health, even stronger relationships.
Wow, really? So it impacts every area of our lives.
It's like this ripple effect. Which begs the question, if feeling more energized can have such a positive impact, isn't that worth exploring?
Absolutely. And that's where I think food comes in, right? You are what you eat and all that.
Right. And one source put it so brilliantly, they said, think of your body like a high-performance car. Would you put in cheap, low-quality fuel and expect it to run smoothly?
No way.
Exactly. Our bodies deserve that same premium fuel, which in this case means real, whole foods.
Okay, so ditch the junk food, upgrade our fuel. I'm following so far. But what does that actually look like in terms of, like, what we should be eating?
The sources are really emphasizing whole foods over processed stuff, and it makes sense. Because it's not even just about the vitamins and minerals, it's how those foods impact everything else going on in our bodies. Blood sugar levels, gut health.
Oh, the gut. Everyone's talking about the gut these days.
Right, but for good reason. It's all connected.
So break it down for me. What do we mean by blood sugar and why should we care?
So imagine blood sugar as the energy supply that keeps our bodies running. Now, processed foods, especially those high in sugar, they give us these quick spikes in blood sugar.
Ah, so we get that sugar rush, that burst of energy.
Exactly. But then what happens? Crash. We're left feeling sluggish and drained. Whole foods, on the other hand, release energy slowly and steadily, helping us avoid those energy roller coasters.
So it's about making choices that provide that steady, sustained energy, not the quick bursts followed by crashes.
Exactly. And you know what else those sources talked about? Inflammation.
Oh, like when you sprain an ankle and
Yeah.
it swells up.
Kind of, but they were talking about chronic inflammation. It's being linked to a whole bunch of health problems these days, and guess what? A diet full of processed foods can actually make it worse.
Wow, I had no idea a diet could impact inflammation like that. So what's the antidote?
Bring on the anti-inflammatory foods. Colorful fruits and veggies, healthy fats like avocados and olive oil.
Okay, that sounds delicious. Anything else?
Oh, and spices. Turmeric, ginger, these can all help fight inflammation from the inside out.
All right, I am convinced. Time to stock up on those colorful fruits and veggies. But speaking of powerful foods, one source kept mentioning superfoods. Is that legit or just a marketing buzzword?
It's a bit of both, honestly, but these sources highlighted some genuinely impressive foods with unique benefits. And the funny thing is, you probably already have some in your kitchen.
No way. Like what? Spill the beans?
We're talking quinoa, spirulina, chia seeds, even good old blueberries and avocados made the cut. Each one brings something unique to the table.
Okay, I am intrigued. Tell me more about these unique benefits.
We'll take quinoa, for example. It's a complete protein, which means it's got all 9 essential amino acids.
Ah, so it's a plant-based powerhouse.
Exactly. And speaking of plant-based, I know sometimes it feels like this big restrictive thing.
Right, like, goodbye, cheeseburgers forever.
Exactly. But one source made it clear that it's not about going all or nothing. Even small shifts towards eating more plants can make a huge difference.
What kind of difference are we talking about here?
Well, they cited a bunch of studies linking plant-rich diets to a lower risk of things like heart disease, type 2 diabetes, even certain types of cancer.
Wow, that's huge.
Right. It's pretty powerful stuff.
Okay, I'm definitely feeling inspired to up my plant game. But what about those times when our energy just dips between meals? Asking for a friend who may or may not have a secret stash of chocolate.
Oh, trust me, we've all been there. But the good news is, Healthy snacking doesn't have to be boring.
Wait, really?
Oh.
Tell me more.
Several sources were packed with ideas for healthy snacks that keep your energy levels up between meals, and yes, even a little dark chocolate made the cut.
Okay, I'm listening.
But let's be real, life isn't just about eating perfectly all the time. We've got stress, deadlines, and let's not forget about sleep, or lack thereof.
Don't even get me started on sleep. Sometimes it feels like a luxury I can't afford.
Right. But that's the thing. Vitality is about so much more than just food. It's this holistic approach to well-being. And that's where sleep, stress management, and physical activity all come in.
Because honestly, a good night's sleep can make or break my day. And as for stress, well, let's just say I'm very familiar with stress eating.
It happens to the best of us. And one of the sources actually talked about how important regular exercise is.
For energy, really?
Yeah, apparently it not only helps reduce stress, but it can also improve our sleep quality.
Wow, so it's like this positive feedback loop. Who knew moving our bodies could actually give us more energy?
It seems counterintuitive, right? But it's like our bodies were designed to move. And when we do, it changes our brain chemistry in a way that helps us handle stress better. And better sleep? Well, that's a no-brainer when it comes to feeling energized.
Makes total sense. But let's get back to food for a second. One source mentioned something called seasonal eating. What's that all about?
It's about aligning your diet with what's naturally in season in your region.
Oh, so like supporting local farmers markets and all that.
Exactly. But it's more than that. Seasonally available produce is often much more nutrient-dense because it's had a chance to fully ripen naturally. Plus, it just tastes better.
See, you're speaking my language now. Give me all the flavor. But I have a confession. My smoothie game needs serious help. I'm talking bland, green, and not so delicious.
Oh, we've all been there. What's your biggest smoothie struggle?
They never taste as good as those pictures online. Mine always end up with this. Let's call it a grassy aftertaste.
I hear you. But one of the sources had a whole section dedicated to smoothies and juices. They even had recipes specifically designed to combat that grassy situation you mentioned.
Okay, you've got my attention. So we're talking tropical blends with mango and pineapple, berry blasts packed with antioxidants.
You got it. Delicious and nutritious.
Okay, now those are smoothies I can get behind. But for those of us who aren't quite ready to jump on the kale smoothie train, any other tips for making those healthier choices without sacrificing enjoyment?
One word. Meal prepping.
Ugh, meal prepping. Sounds like a lot of work.
Hear me out. It's not about spending your entire Sunday in the kitchen. It's about making healthy choices easier during those busy weekdays when you're short on time and temptation is calling.
Okay, so it's about setting ourselves up for success.
Exactly.
But like, what kind of meals are we talking about? Give me some inspiration.
Think big batch meals that reheat well, like flavorful soups, stir fries, or those colorful grain bowls that are all the rage.
So instead of reaching for the takeout menu when I'm starving, I've got a delicious prepped meal ready to go. I could get used to this. But speaking of prepping meals, one source kept mentioning sustainable choices. What does that even mean in this context?
It's about considering the impact of our food choices, not just on our own health, but also on the health of the planet.
Oh, I see. So it's like thinking about the bigger picture of where our food comes from.
Exactly. Things like choosing locally sourced produce, reducing food waste.
Okay, so it's about being mindful of the whole journey our food takes, from farm to plate.
Precisely. And the great thing is, making sustainable choices often goes hand in hand with boosting our own vitality.
It all comes full circle.
Yeah.
It's amazing how connected it all truly is. And speaking of connections, let's talk about the gut-brain connection. It's fascinating how much attention the gut is getting these days.
Right. It's like we're finally realizing that our gut isn't just there to digest food. It plays a much bigger role in our overall health and well-being.
Totally. Sometimes I swear my stomach has a mind of its own.
And you know what? You're not far off. One source referred to the gut as our second brain because it's home to trillions of bacteria that make up our gut microbiome.
A microbiome.
Yeah.
That's the trendy term everyone's throwing around. But what does it actually do?
It's involved in so many things. Digestion and nutrient absorption, obviously. But it also plays a role in our immune function, our mental health.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah.
Our gut impacts our mental health.
It does. One source even suggested that an imbalanced gut microbiome could contribute to things like fatigue, brain fog, and even low mood.
Wow, so it's not all in my head when I hit that after-lunch slump. It could actually be my gut sending out distress signals.
It's definitely possible. There's still a lot of research being done in this area, but the emerging science is pretty incredible.
Okay, so we need to keep those gut bacteria happy and thriving. We talked about probiotics, but what else can we do?
One source was all about fermented foods.
Like yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, those all seem to be making a comeback lately.
Exactly. They're packed with probiotics, which are those beneficial bacteria that help keep our gut microbiome balanced and happy.
So we're talking fermented foods for a happy gut. Got it.
Right.
But what about stress? We know that doesn't exactly do wonders for our digestion.
You're telling me. But one source talked about the power of mindfulness for a healthy gut.
Mindfulness,
Yeah.
like meditation and stuff.
Exactly. Things like meditation, deep breathing exercises, they can actually help to calm our nervous system and reduce those stress hormones that can wreak havoc on our gut.
So it's not just about what we eat, but also how we eat it. Taking the time to de-stress, be present.
Exactly. And speaking of how we eat, there was this fascinating section on natural energy boosters.
Oh, like the healthy alternative to those sugary energy drinks. Tell me more.
Well, they emphasize that one of the simplest yet most effective energy boosters is actually just staying hydrated.
Water. Really?
Yep. Dehydration can really drain our energy levels without us even realizing it.
Makes sense. But sometimes we need a little something extra, right?
Absolutely. And that's where those pantry staples come in. Almonds, bananas, both are great sources of sustained energy.
Okay, I can get on board with that. Easy and delicious. What about when we need something a bit more substantial?
Sweet potatoes are a fantastic option. Complex carbs, fiber, vitamins, they've got it all. You can bake them, roast them.
Well, I love a good roasted sweet potato. What about you?
Same here. It's so simple, but so good.
I'm definitely rethinking my go-to snacks after this deep dive.
Yeah.
These all sound so much more appealing than those processed snacks I usually reach for.
Right. It's about making those small shifts towards foods that not only taste good, but also make us feel amazing.
It's about making choices that nourish our bodies from the inside out. And it all starts with what we put on our plates.
I love that. It's so true. It's funny because we often think about healthy eating as kind of like bland and boring.
Right, like salads with no dressing and all that.
Exactly. But one source had all these amazing tips for making plant-based meals super delicious.
Oh, do tell. I'm always up for spicing things up in the kitchen.
Well, they were talking about building these vibrant bowls with quinoa or brown rice as a base.
Okay, I like where this is going.
And then topping them with all these colorful roasted veggies like sweet potatoes, bell peppers, Brussels sprouts.
Yum.
Right. And then they even suggested adding a dollop of hummus or some toasted nuts for extra flavor and crunch.
See, now that's what I'm talking about. That sounds way more exciting than my usual go-to salad.
Right. It's amazing how a little creativity can make healthy eating so much more enjoyable.
Totally. And speaking of enjoying those healthier choices, one source shared some incredible stories from people who had actually made these kinds of lifestyle changes.
Oh, I love a good success story. What were some of the changes they made?
They talked about everything from overcoming chronic fatigue to improving long-standing health conditions. Some even said they completely transformed their relationship with food.
It's so inspiring to hear about those real-life transformations. What were some of their secrets?
Well, one thing that kept coming up was the importance of consistency over perfection.
Ah, so it's not about being perfect all the time.
Not at all. They focused on making small, sustainable changes, things they could actually stick with over time.
That makes so much more sense than trying to overhaul your entire life overnight.
Exactly. And they talked about celebrating those small victories along the way, like even making one healthy choice can create this ripple effect on our overall well-being.
I love that, the ripple effect. Okay, so we're talking about small, consistent changes instead of aiming for perfection. Got it. But can we circle back to sustainable eating for a sec?
Oh, yeah. We touched on that earlier. It's about so much more than just using reusable containers, right?
Exactly. It's about considering the entire journey our food takes, from how it's grown to how it ends up on our plates.
So, like, are we supporting ethical and sustainable farming practices? Are we reducing our carbon footprint?
Exactly. It's about making conscious choices that align with our values. And the amazing thing is that when we choose locally sourced seasonal produce, it's often fresher, more nutrient-dense.
And it supports local farmers.
Right. It's a win-win all around.
I love those. It's incredible how interconnected it all is, right? Our health, our food choices, the health of the planet.
It really is. And speaking of interconnectedness, remember that whole gut-brain connection we were talking about?
Oh, yeah. Tell me more about that. The gut seems to be getting so much attention these days.
And for good reason. Those sources dove deep into the gut microbiome, describing it as this incredibly complex ecosystem that influences everything from how we digest food to our immune function and even our mood.
So it's not just in my head when I get those mood swings. It could be my gut talking.
Well, one source actually suggested that an imbalanced gut microbiome could contribute to fatigue, brain fog, and yes, even low mood.
Wow, it really is all connected. So how do we keep those gut bacteria happy and balanced? We talked about probiotics, but are there other things we can do?
One source was really into fermented foods.
Like yogurt and sauerkraut.
Exactly. They're full of those beneficial probiotics that help keep our gut microbiome in tip-top shape.
Okay, fermented foods, got it. But let's talk about stress for a second. Because we all know stress and digestion don't exactly go hand in hand.
Oh, tell me about it. Stress can wreak havoc on our gut.
So how do we counteract that?
Well, one source had this whole section on mindfulness for gut health.
Oh, interesting, like meditating to calm those digestive butterflies.
Exactly. Even just taking a few minutes to focus on your breath or do some deep breathing exercises can make a world of difference.
Okay, so we're talking about finding those moments of calm throughout the day to help manage stress and, in turn, support our gut health.
Exactly. It's those small acts of self-care that can really add up over time.
Totally. It's incredible how everything we've been talking about circles back to this holistic approach to well-being.
Right. It's not just about what we eat. It's about how we manage stress, how we move our bodies, how we prioritize our mental and emotional health.
It's about recognizing that all of these things are interconnected and contribute to that feeling of vitality we're all searching for.
Absolutely. So it's not about trying to be perfect in every area of our lives. It's about finding that balance that works for us.
I love that. It takes the pressure off. But speaking of finding what works, let's talk about those natural energy boosters again. We touched on staying hydrated, but what are some other ways to keep those energy levels up without relying on sugary drinks and caffeine?
Oh, yeah. Those are game changers. Remember how we talked about those blood sugar spikes and crashes?
Oh, yes. The dreaded sugar crash is the worst.
The worst. But these natural energy boosters, they give you that sustained energy release so you avoid that roller coaster ride altogether.
Okay, I'm all ears. Give me those natural energy hacks.
Well, one of the simplest and most effective is actually just water.
Water. Seriously.
Seriously. Dehydration can sneak up on us and it can really drain our energy.
Okay, that's a good reminder to sip on that H2O throughout the day.
Yeah.
But what about when we need a little something extra to keep us going?
Well, for a quick and easy boost, you can't go wrong with a handful of almonds or a banana.
Okay, those are easy enough to keep on hand. But what about when you need something a little more substantial?
Sweet potatoes are a powerhouse. Complex carbs, fiber, vitamins for flying. They'll give you that long-lasting energy that won't leave you feeling hangry an hour later.
Okay, I'm adding sweet potatoes to my grocery list as we speak.
Right. It's about making those swaps towards foods that not only taste good, but also fuel our bodies with the good stuff.
It's amazing how when we start paying attention to what we're putting into our bodies, we can really start to feel a difference in our energy levels, our mood, everything.
It's like giving our bodies the TLC they deserve.
Exactly. But, it's one thing to have all this knowledge, and it's another to actually put it into practice, right?
Oh, absolutely. Knowledge is power, but it's the action we take that really makes a difference.
So true. But before we get into those action steps, there's one more fascinating concept from these sources that I want to unpack. The idea of food as medicine.
Ooh, yes. That's a powerful concept. What about it stood out to you?
Well, it's just so intriguing to think about food, not just as something that, fills us up, but as something that can actively heal and protect our bodies.
It's like we've lost touch with that ancestral wisdom that food is medicine.
Exactly. And it's easy to get caught up in the latest diet fads and forget that food isn't just about calorie counting or fitting into a certain size. It's about nourishing our bodies from the inside out.
It's about seeing food as an ally in our health journey, not the enemy.
Yes. And that's where I think mindful eating comes in.
Tell me more about what you mean.
It's one thing to understand the concept of food as medicine intellectually, but it's another to actually embody that understanding in our daily lives. And I think mindful eating can help us bridge that gap.
So how do we bring more mindfulness into our meals?
Well, it starts with slowing down and actually tasting our food,
Right?
engaging all of our senses in the experience of eating.
It's about making mealtime about more than just how quickly can I shovel this food in my mouth.
Exactly. It's about savoring each bite, noticing the flavors and textures, and really appreciating the nourishment our food provides.
It sounds so simple, but it's so powerful, right?
Totally. And mindful eating isn't just about slowing down. It's also about paying attention to our body's cues and learning to distinguish between physical hunger and emotional hunger.
Oh, that's a big one. It's so easy to get those two mixed up.
Right. So it's about asking ourselves, am I truly hungry right now? Or am I reaching for food out of boredom, stress, or some other emotion?
It's about becoming more aware of those patterns and making conscious choices that support our overall well-being.
This is all so fascinating. I'm starting to see how mindful eating can be such a game changer, not just for our relationship with food, but also for our overall health and happiness.
It's about reconnecting with the joy of eating and finding that sense of balance and nourishment in our lives.
You know, it's funny how we're always searching for that one magic food.
That silver bullet.
Yes, that'll instantly boost our energy and, like, solve all our health problems.
Right, like a magic pill.
Exactly. But what I'm hearing from these sources is that it's not about finding that quick fix. It's about,
It's about the bigger picture.
yes, it's about changing our whole approach to well-being.
It's a lifestyle, not a crash diet.
Exactly. And it really seems to be about taking a holistic view, right? Like recognizing that everything's connected.
Everything's connected.
Yeah.
What we eat, how stressed we are, how well we sleep, how much we move our bodies, it all matters.
It's like they always say, you can't out-exercise a bad diet.
Exactly. You got to address it all. Find that balance.
So where do we even begin? It can feel so overwhelming, like, oh my gosh, I have to change everything.
Right. Who has time for a total life overhaul?
Seriously. So what's the first step? What's one small, manageable change we can make today?
Well, what about you? What's calling to you from everything we've discussed?
Honestly, I think I'm going to try one of those delicious-sounding smoothie recipes we talked about.
Yes. Good choice.
I've been in a total smoothie rut lately, so I need to shake things up.
Yep.
What about you? What are you taking away from this deep dive?
For me, it's the reminder to eat mindfully. And I don't mean like meditating over my food or anything.
Right, no weird chanting rituals required.
Exactly. Just like slowing down, actually tasting my food, being present in the moment.
Yes. It's amazing how often we just, like, inhale our food without even really tasting it.
Totally. So I'm challenging myself to be more present during meals, really savor and appreciate the experience.
I love that. Such a simple but powerful shift. And on that note, I think it's time for us to wrap up this deep dive. But as always, we want to leave you with something to ponder.
Always love a good takeaway.
If vitality is a journey, not a destination, what one small step will you take today to move towards a more vibrant, energized you?
Ooh, I like that. And remember, no step is too small.
Exactly. Until next time, happy exploring, and here's to a healthier, happier, and more energized you.